Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining me today on another episode. Today, I got a fresh cork pop on one of my favorite bottles, Nikka Whisky from the barrel. It's a screw top if you didn't notice, but I'm going to act like it's a cork anyway. But these have become more and more available, especially in Ohio. Just 4 years ago, these started dropping in the US. And gosh, it seems like the last year I've been able to find this more and more. And I usually always keep a bottle of this on the shelf. A, just because it's one of my favorite bottle designs, but B, I always love what's inside it. But I haven't had it in a while, so we're going to do a fresh pop here, go through a tasting, and see if I would still recommend it. Thanks for joining, everybody. Let's kick off the show. Plastic off of there. Got the cork pop. Oh, look at that lovely noise. All right. We're going to go with a Scotch Test Dummies Glen on this one. All right. So let's get into it here a little bit. So with the Nikka from the barrel, the big thing about this one is really the proof content. So you're looking at a 51.4% ABV. And typically, you're looking at, with the Japanese whiskeys, 80, 86, maybe 90 at most. So that's where this one travels a bit higher, is just the fact that it's got that extra proof punch, which then lends itself to another layer of flavors. But then with the bottle design itself, as I kind of zoom out here, this thing is just one of my absolute favorite bottle designs. It's so simple in nature. It's almost a fat Kings County, if you want to look at it that way. Like the Kings County was like this bottle that got ran over by a car. But one of my favorite expressions, I've had this one pretty consistently on the shelf the last couple years, and now it's at Ohio, just in every liquor store, it seems like. It's around $70, but man, prices range on this one if you start looking it up online. So I bet you there's a range of it in your area. I've seen it go up as high as 130. I'm going to evaluate it at 70, but I do feel like there is a breaking point where I would stop recommending it, at a price level. But let's just break it down anyway, go through it. Cheers, everybody. We'll go through the nose, and then we'll go through the taste, and then see the final thoughts. Yeah, it's a very dark presence. It's actually darker than I remember. It's almost like a graham cracker, but maybe even like a graham cracker that was overcooked a bit. There's a bit of honey there as well. And a nice layer of sea salt. It's doing this dance between being very dark and burnt, but also with this layer of sweetness. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. And then if there's any fruits, if you're going to go with the fruit, it's going to be right around that honey, where you're then getting into just some bright fruits, some apples, not quite pear. If you go into the apples, maybe like a gala apple. There's some spiciness emerging now. A bit of pepper, and gosh, I'd even get into something even savory about that. Not quite like a cumin, but there's a layer of spices on this that goes beyond the pepper. Well, let's get into the taste. We'll break down the front of the palate, mid palate, then the finish. Man, that was really good first pour. First sip. The front of the palate, this thing's real oily. It coats really well. And it was all that honey up front, just that honey sweetness. things really escalate mid-palate, and it maintains a flavor punch for quite a bit extending into the finish. It doesn't tail off right away, which I like quite a bit, and I'm still tasting it right now as I'm talking through this, but it really does escalate at mid-palate, and it hangs on for a good ride. Man, the honey continues. More fruits are coming out here. Now I'm starting to get into a little bit of cherry, which is really nice. The apple's still there as well. There is that layer of spiciness with the pepper. And the sweetness keeps coming out more and more as I'm sipping on it. Oh, man. Really enjoying this. The finish, there's a little bit of a taffy note, almost a sea salt taffy on the finish, which is kind of interesting. I would even say it's a caramel sea salt taffy. So if you go to Hilton Head and you're going to that, sea salt taffy store, that's what this is reminding me of there. I could really sip on this all day, though. I just find it crisp, enjoyable, relaxing, and I really like the sweetness that it brings. So in terms of the value, Ben, at $70, I'd recommend this one. If you see this one on the shelves, and regardless if you've been into Japanese whiskeys before, I would take a shot at this one. Especially if you're a bourbon drinker, you like your proof, this might be a good one to get you into what's possible with the Japanese whiskeys. Now, I think they're getting most of the stuff still from Scotland, but I think they're making their own. Maybe I got that story. It's a bit outdated. I don't know. But we'll call it a Japanese whiskey. I'm going to do one last sip here. Yeah, it's just a nice pour. It may not be that overly complex, but I still think it's going to give you exactly what you want in terms of that honey, the sweet flavors, and just its overall presence. Well, thanks for joining, everybody. We were talking about the Nikka from the barrel. If you do see this out there, this is a recommend, $70. All right. Thanks for joining, Whiskey Friends. I'll catch you later. Bye, everybody.